Just a random video. I've just done a walk and talk, but I feel like it was more like a walk and waffle. So I'm debating on whether or not to upload that. I probably will. And if you find yourself kind of nodding off halfway through, then just scrap it. So I'm going to cover just a few little things, a little bit of a chat. That's pretty much it. Whilst that, I've made a giant mocha. I love me a mocha. Right. So these are the chili seeds that I'd saved from the chilies that went in that dish. That dish was so good. It was so nice. That I'll remember it anyway. You know, and I know some of you guys have been writing it down. But yeah, and also this company here is pretty decent. They've been going for a very, very long time. If you're interested in getting your hands on a little bit of silver or gold or anything like that, because the financial system's looking very, very, very rocky. Yeah, so you know when you kind of you're going. I'll go into this first, right? So this is Borax Substitute. Now, the original, it's called Borax Substitute, which it did confuse me a little bit, if I'm honest, when I started looking online for it, because it was recommended by some of you guys instead of bicarbonate of soda because of the aluminium scare or fear. Now, it turns out that, so this isn't borax, it's a borax substitute. So borax was banned in the UK and the EU due to high levels of exposure. Well, they reckon that high levels of exposure to borax, the original, may adversely affect human reproduction or development, which is that in itself, you know, banning that. It was the European Chemicals Agency. They banned borax in the EU and the UK for those reasons and a few other reasons. But isn't it ironic? Isn't it just ironic that they banned something that may affect human reproduction or development, yet they pushed other things on us that get you there even quicker, on top of all of the shit that's spraying on our food and the stuff that they're pumping into the skies? You know? It's hilarious. The hypocrisy makes my piss boil. I'm trying to say that a little bit less now because I'm starting to get into a bit of a habit of saying it because it's just so apt. So I ended up getting this instead, and I think there's 6 in there. Yeah, 6 500 gram boxes. Now, to be honest with you, there's part of me that's kind of maybe regretting getting that because A, it's not actually borax because you can't get hold of it, and B, I've got other products that I've researched that are safe to use, that can do the job. I suppose the only real benefit to this is it is multi-purpose. This, instead of having loads of separate products, this can do quite a few things. So do a little bit of your own research. But I've been trying to find articles. I did a proper deep dive last night, and I can't find any articles anywhere that states that bicarbonate of soda naturally produced contains any trace of aluminium. So I didn't buy any in. I've got some, that I bought before, but I got this based on information that you guys gave me. So if you can find any articles, official, peer-reviewed studies that people have done that state categorically that there is aluminium in bicarbonate of soda or baking soda, then please email them to me. Otherwise, I'm going to get some in because it's good. It's a good alternative for brushing your teeth and a shitload of other things. Have a look in the community section. Loads and loads and loads and loads of uses, and it's natural. So, to those who kind of gave me a little bit of a nudge to get this, or borax, really. You gave me a nudge to get borax, but I've just read. But then again, that could be a load of bollocks. You just don't know, do you? Maybe they don't want anything that's too good for you, so we'll put something out there that's not as good for you. And on top of that, bicarbonate of soda, you can't brush your teeth with this shit. There are so many things that bicarbonate of soda can do that this can't do. So it's essentially just good for washing clothes and getting stains out and cleaning some surfaces. I've already got loads of stuff for that. So yeah, if you can just find something that I may have missed and email it to me, I'd be appreciative. When you go on to Google or whatever, to just do a quick Google search, because I do use Google to do searches for little bits and bobs here and there, and there is some elements of truth in there. And it came up about Novotel, my local Novotel, which is I'm going to sand this down in a bit and then re-oil it all because it's an eyesore now. And yeah, it came up about Novotel, and I was saying that I think I was talking to Annie about the place that they were emptying it, because I think they had about 100 in there of these illegals, and they'd slated to empty the place of these people by July, but now it says June. So apparently it's illegal free now, but it's probably going to take some cleaning up. But I think what's happened is so where have all these 100 people gone? Because I've had a really, really good look, and I can't find any information as to where these 100 people have gone. But then across the road, this is on Bostocks Lane. So Bostocks Lane, Long Eaton, look it up. You've got one hotel on one side called Novotel that housed 100. And then on the opposite side of the road, same road, Bostocks Lane, you've got the Great Western Hotel. And there have been auditors that have gone there and didn't get a very good reception. So look that up on YouTube. It's quite interesting. 10-minute walk from where I live. And the Great Western Hotel is still housing approximately 400 people. So I'm wondering if there were 300 in there and then they've just sent the other 100 from across the road into the Great Western at a ridiculous, disgusting cost to the taxpayer. Yeah, right. So yeah, anyway, yeah, that's pissed me off. I do think that housing project is going to be for them. And yeah, I think that's when the community will come together. I think it's just a matter of time, because more and more people are switching on. More and more people are feeling the pinch. More and more people are getting pissed off with the hypocrisy, you know. And this wanker Starmer, I would love for him to just come to this house and sit down with me, have a cup of tea and a chat, you know. Pussy. He's just a pussy. This is why these people have got so much security, because they're pussies. They're pussies. They send henchmen out to do their dirty work, you know. There's part of me that would love for them to come to my house, you know, because I've said stuff and shared stuff that was way worse than some of the stuff that these people have been sent to jail for. But yeah, there is part of me that wants to test my mettle and theirs, and it'll make the news. I guarantee it. Yeah, so I've had a book come through, and I think this is something that again people need to look into. So we've got first aid on adults is so different to first aid on kids. Now, I remember my training, most of it. I think I remember more about first aid on babies and kids than I do about the first aid training I did on adults. Because even though I was practicing on a baby dummy, it was still quite harrowing. Because I've got a very, very vivid imagination, and being put in a situation like that would be rough, really rough. And it's different, you know. They've got smaller lungs, so when you're giving CPR mouth to mouth, you've got to take that into account. Their lung capacity, their chest, their rib cage is still forming, really, you know, still developing. There are so many things to take into account. So getting a book like this, especially if you've got kids or if you've got family members that are still fast asleep that have got kids, we just don't know. I'm going to just have a really, really quick flick through it. Really quick. Just to show you the sort of stuff that's in there. And it covers so much, you know. Electrical injuries, drowning, the seizures in there, choking. I mean, unconscious babies, you know. Between if there's an ambulance available, if there's a paramedic available, we just don't know how this shit's going to go down. And if there is, then it's the type, every single second counts. So between the problem and their arrival, if they arrive, you're it. You're that first responder. See, it's very, very in depth, and there are lots of illustrations, and illustrations are really, really important as far as I'm concerned, because words are just words. You know, when you've got a visual representation of what you need to be doing, it helps a lot. So I'm not going to go through the whole book, but you know, I mean, I've just gone through a few little pages there, and it's not expensive. I've ordered 2. I'm still waiting on the other one, but from the research that I've done, this is probably the best one. I do think there's a new version, but I still think that this will be good enough. So yeah, add that to your first aid kits and your first aid manuals, if you can afford it. I would still buy food over that. those 3 onions, those 3 massive Spanish onions that I bought in that Aldi shop. Look at that. You know, so they now take up the same space, or less than the space of 1 onion. And as far as I'm concerned, these are good for 2 years. So they're still, you're never going to really benefit from them the same as you would eating a fresh onion, especially an organic one. But this is the nearest you're going to get to it. And certainly better than dried onion powder and anything that's shop bought, because you're dehydrating and vat packing stuff more organically, if you like, from fresh. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I have done a little bit. I'm still waiting on the dog one. I'll go through that as well when that arrives. If anyone can, like I said, if anyone can send me any information as to bicarbonate of soda, baking soda, being rammed full of aluminium, then please send it to me. Otherwise, I'm going to get a shitload of that in, because I would have preferred to have gotten that from what I've done, from what I've read. I would rather get that in than that. So that's all for now. Much love. Ciao for now.